All right. Thanks. Thank you. So tonight we're going to do something different. We had some students, they went to Haiti a couple weeks ago, and what God did over there, it touched their hearts in such a way that they really wanted to share that with you guys tonight. So we're gonna give those students a chance. So if you went to Haiti, come on up here and give them a hand. All right, so for everyone who doesn't know who you are, take some time and introduce yourselves.
My name's Nathan, and this would be my second trip to Haiti.
My name is Yvonne, and this was also my second trip to Haiti.
My name is Kennedy, and this was my third trip to Haiti.
My name is Anna, and this was my first trip.
All right, so very first question. Why did you want to go to Haiti? I hear it's a number, like top 10 in visitors wanting to go, like vacations. I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. But why did you want to go to Haiti?
For me personally, I feel called to missions, so it was a missions trip, and I really wanted to go. And I went last year, or I guess it would be this year, in February, and I really enjoyed it, and that was just kind of, yeah, it's a good way to get people to make fun of me too, so that's why I wanted to go.
So like I said, this was my second trip to Haiti. My first trip to Haiti was just to see how the culture was and what it was like to be in a different country. But this time it was to keep building upon the relationships I made in the first trip, and also to see what our church was doing with Pastor Lament and the school that we're going to build.
Piggybacking off of Yvonne, I have been there before as well, and I just wanted to keep building on the relationships that I've made previously. But also, I've been called, Nate said, into missions, but I don't really know where my calling is yet. It's just something maybe I want to go teach in Haiti or something with kids, but it's just a nice opportunity to get to be able to ask questions and to see what it would be like to be able to live in Haiti.
For me, I'd always wanted to go on a missions trip, but I'd never gotten up the courage to actually do it. So when the opportunity came for us, and Pastor Brian had talked to me and my mom and told us that this was going to be one where they really wanted to work with the kids, I definitely knew that I was being called, because me and my mom both love to work with kids, and so that just fit perfectly in with that.
All right, so all good trips have funny stories. So what were some of the funniest things you encountered in Haiti?
Well, ours was the first day, so we started out funny on the drive to the compound. So we're driving along, and it's a bumpy road, and we hit an unusually large bump. And when we look back, we see a goat spinning in our wake.
Is there a video of that?
We did not hit the goat. No, there isn't video. We did not hit the goat. The goat hit us. It ran into us, and everyone was just kind of shocked, and I, trying to be calm, say, we just blessed someone with a meal. So that was probably the funniest to me.
The funniest thing to me was the one day Kennedy and Anna and I went outside the compound, and there's a school out there because we heard the kids outside for recess. So we went back into the little play area where the kindergartners were, and they all started running up to us and yelling, "Blanc, blanc," which means white. And they were hugging us and stuff. And then the teachers grabbed us, pulled us into the center of their play area and blasted kids' music and made us start dancing for the kids. And then they didn't like how we were dancing, so they showed us how to dance their way.
So I actually have two. On the ride down, actually, I don't know what Tom was doing, if he was trying to get us prepared for the heat. He had the heat blasting in the van, and we asked him 3 times, and he'd be like, and like turn it like 1 notch. And I'm like, Tom, like I'm roasting. But I just thought it was funny, like to prepare us for Haiti and the hotness there.
Tom Kurtz, is that true?
It is true.
Yeah.
He was in the front. He didn't feel it.
And then on Sunday, I don't know if you guys heard, like in 2015 when we went down, to try and talk to Haitians, you can't like speak with them because they speak a different language. So you like do like motions and stuff. And so Sunday, Pastor Brian was trying to tell the whole church how you discipline a kid. And so he smacked his butt in front of everybody. No,
Pastor Brian, can we get a demonstration?
We have a picture.
Come on. Woo!
Oh yeah. Okay. I have another story about church. So down in Haiti, the name, okay, if your last name has like Mick in front, they don't say it like that. And so Pastor Lament, at the graduation that we went to, he said something about Pastor MC Call. And so all week we were making fun of him, telling him that he was MC Call instead of MC Hammer.
All right, that was like MC Call. That's great. So. Laura, I don't think he heard you. You want to say that to the mic?
MC called disciplining his kids.
All right. So, what was like the biggest culture shock for you while you're in Haiti? 'Cause that's a different culture than here. So, what was the biggest thing that shocked you about the culture?
Just like, I mean, I've already been there, but I kind of said this whenever we talked, when we were down there on Wednesday night, just at the graduation, the culture of that was really different than we have here, because ours is hasty and just get through it and be done. And theirs is like, there's songs, there's skits, there's dances, there's all sorts of different stuff, and it's just really different than here, because we're like, get done with it in 2 hours and we're happy, and theirs goes on for planned 4 hours and 5 hours actually. So
the biggest culture shock for me is kind of like the idea of their basic survival. Like here in the U.S., we're supplied with everything we need. We have food on our table 3 times a day. We have access to clean water at all times. But in Haiti, that can be kind of a difficult task for them. So, and they're satisfied with what they have too. So like here, we're not satisfied. We want more and more and more, but they are satisfied with everything that they have.
I remember the first thing like I thought of whenever you like step off the plane, it's like you have everything hit you at once. It's like the smell, the sight, the sound, the trash just littered on the ground, and it's gotten a lot better. But just like what I still can't get over is how they have no way of like really repairing like the damage from the earthquake that was, I forget how long ago it was from now. But there's still just like rocks falling on the ground from the earthquake that was like 10 years ago. Is that how long it was ago? Like 10 plus years ago, and they just have nowhere to go with it or to fix it. And there's like houses like half built or half fallen down. So.
Whenever I got off the plane, you go through like customs and stuff, and as soon as I walked out of that airport, there was just a bunch of men just lined up, and like I honestly felt like I was a celebrity almost. Like it made me feel guilty because like you walk out and you're the white people, like the rich white people, and so everyone is trying to get you to give them stuff, and like all the attention's on you. And then I just remember as soon as we got in to Burrell, like we were driving in a van, and I just remember looking out and seeing all the trash and all these people just in shacks like the whole way down, and like you cannot even like describe it. Like you have to be there, and it's just like it's crazy. Like I could not wrap my mind around it, like how poor they were and how little they had.
All right, so Anna, you said something really interesting a while back, saying you had to build up the courage to go to a trip like this. There might be some people in this room that might want to go to Haiti, but fears. holding them back. So let's talk about this. What fears did you have to overcome?
Well, first of all, I had never flown before, so it was my first flight ever, and that was a large thing for me. But that, and also, like, I had never, like, the most I'd ever done was Urban Hope for, like, missions trips, and so I was honestly, like, petrified. If you would have asked me in June, like, I was trying to decide, and I was so petrified, and I had no clue what I wanted to do. But honestly, like, once you get past that, you just have to realize that, like, it's God's will. You just have to trust him and know that whatever happens, like, it's going to be in God's will and it's his plan. And also, like, once I got on that first plane, like, you just kind of relax and everything just goes, like, all week after, like, we got into Haiti, like, I was honestly, like, fine because I knew that God was with us, and, like, God's presence is so evident with us, like, on a missions trip, and so you just relax a little bit.
For me, I'm very controlling with prioritizing and scheduling and everything. So it's just kind of like letting go of your schedule and your planner, because when you're in Haiti, it's Haiti time, and you may have church that starts at, okay, not church. Okay, that's a bad example. But, like, the graduation was supposed to start at, like, 9 or 10, and it didn't. Maybe it was 9. It didn't start till, like, 10:30, 11, and you're just sitting there for 2 hours, and you just go with it. So.
My biggest fear that I had to overcome, well, my first trip, I was kind of prepared for this trip because I'd already kind of, like, overcome all the fears that I had from the first trip, like the language barrier and stuff like that. But for me, this trip was probably traveling by myself for the first time, kind of, because the first trip I had my mom and my sister with me, but this time I was going to a different country, like a foreign place, all by myself without any family members. So I was a little bit nervous to have to go through the traveling process and just to be in a different country without my family.
Yvonne took mine, but mine was traveling by myself also, and just being down there without, like, Dad being there. But there were plenty of people that were momming me the whole entire week. So really, I just felt no.
All right, since this was a missions trip, you encountered a lot of different spiritual things. So what was the biggest spiritual impact for you while you were there?
For me, Yvonne said on Sunday a couple weeks ago, she said about, like, feeling the presence of Satan while we were walking up to the church in Mau, and it like really hit me that, like, it seems so real there. Like, Satan is there. They're, like, pretty much worshiping him, even though they might not think it. But then I was just thinking, and I just realized that he's in our world, in our lives, just as much as he is there. It's just we've grown so used to what he does to tempt us that it doesn't seem like, it doesn't make us uneasy whenever we walked into temptation.
Okay, Nathan did pay back. He stole mine. But another one for me was probably going to church and the graduation and seeing how the Haitians worship and stuff. Like, when they have Jesus, they have everything. Like, nothing else matters. Their church is a lot more interactive. Like, there's a lot more talking from the audience, and it's a lot louder than ours, I think. And here, all we think about is how we need to get better and be improving, and we want more and more and more. But there, they push the material things away, and they think about God the most.
On the last night, we had the opportunity to meet with Pastor Lament and his wife and son, and they just came and we just kind of, like, talked about our week and what really impacted us the most, kind of like what we're doing now, just like just talking about our trip. And he shared a story with us about how he has 16 people in his home, and I was in it, and it's not very big, maybe like 3 rooms or something like that, I don't know. But he has 16 people in his home, and they all come from, like, rough homes. Like, they're not, like, adopted. They're just, like, he just takes them in because they need help, and they need Jesus, and he said that they go 1 to like maybe even 3 days without eating, and his kids will go to school hungry, and if he does have food, and when he does and God provides it, there'll be people and they know that they have food, so they're like, come in, eat whatever we have, we'll portion it out and share with everyone. And he says that like, even though there are days where we are hungry and our kids go to school hungry, I'm still relying on God. Like God provides it. He's going to provide it, and he's always trusting. And here in the United States, we don't have to rely on God for food or if we're ever going to have like another pair of clothing or when our next shower is going to be or something, because we have all the resources. So the biggest spiritual impact was just seeing how much they rely on God, and like kind of like a wake-up call, like, hey, you need to rely on God just as much as they rely on God.
For me, whenever we went to the prayer house the one day, that's like a place where people who pretty much they're sick and they like pretty much have like no really like money to go to a hospital. There's not very many hospitals there. And so they go to the prayer house and they hope for a miracle. And we didn't really know if they were like Christians or like some of them, they like believe in other things. And so we weren't really sure. But whenever we were there, we like prayed over them and we were like singing with them and stuff. And that just like really hit me because like these people are at the lowest of the lows. They're laying on like a rug on a concrete floor and living there with maybe like one family member to take care of them, and they still love God. And like here we are and we have all of this stuff and we still like want more, and we can't, like sometimes we can't rely on God for stuff. And that just like really hit me that like honestly the more that we have, the less that we can like actually rely on God. And I mean, like, it really, like, just hit me, and I really did, like, feel the presence of God, but I also kind of felt, like, the presence of Satan in that situation also, because, like, you don't know if they're Christians or not, and so it's kind of, like, you just kind of feel both, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain.
So, when we talk about this thing called Christianity, if you're going to really follow God, you're going to encounter the presence of God. But in doing that, you're also going to encounter the presence of Satan, so keep that in mind, that there's a very real devil out there, but there's also a very real God that loves you and wants to guide you in life. So, when you go on a trip like this, there's things that, you do really well. If there was one thing you can do different, what would it be?
Just embracing the changes in plans. Like, it was like Tuesday afternoon, or one of the afternoons, it rained a lot, and we couldn't go up to one of the villages in the mountains. So we sat for 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, making rubber band bracelets. It was very boring and tiring, and my fingers hurt, and my eyes hurt, and it was probably good for me to just learn to just let my plans go and just let God guide what we did, because that ended up helping us on Wednesday when we went to Maui. Like, that helped us. We didn't have to make the bracelets with the kids. We could just give the kids the bracelets, which was a lot easier. So just embracing the change in plans.
Mine's kind of along the same lines as Nate, just like making sure that you understand that you're in Haitian time and not in American time anymore, because the one day we went to the kids program at Pastor Lament's church, and we did the lesson and we taught them how to make the bracelets, and it was complete chaos. There was hundreds of kids that came through, and it was complete chaos. So that night we, like Nate said, we made a whole bunch, and the next day at the next kids program we were more prepared. We were ready to just give the lesson, show them what the bracelets meant, and move on with our day.
This trip, I think, was one of the best, like, just with the team and everything. And I thought it went really smoothly compared to a lot of other trips. And I don't know if I would want to change anything, because even though we had a lot of, like, chaos and downtime, it was, like, time that we got to spend learning more about our members of the team, and just we got to grow together, and we like just had a lot of deep conversations and what we thought about the trip. So I thought altogether it was really a nice, good trip. Maybe dancing with the kids more. That was really fun.
For me, I would probably just I really wish that I would have let go more of myself and tried to embrace the culture more.
All right, so this last question, some things I want to let you guys know. If you want to go to Haiti, the church will help you raise funds to a certain point. I think it will cover like 20-25% of your cost to go to Haiti. But if you're gonna go, you're gonna have to do fundraising. You're gonna have to have a passport, and there's gonna be some level of spiritual maturity we're looking for when you go to Haiti if you want to do that. So keep that stuff in mind if you want to go on a trip like this. And with you guys, since you guys have gone to Haiti and you've experienced this before, why should someone in our youth group consider going to Haiti?
I just think it's a really good experience to go outside of the culture and to get outside of your comfort zone and just see if this is something that God's calling you to do.
That's like the same with Anna, just like getting out of your comfort zone. It's very different, and just like it helps you grow so much more. You learn, I mean, I don't want to make this seem like you have to go to a different country to learn more in Christ. You don't have to do that, like definitely not. But it definitely gives you more perspectives on different things, and you just have to, like Darryl said, make sure you're spiritually ready, because it's definitely crazy when you go down there, and it's a lot coming at you all at once. So it's definitely a lot of spiritually, emotionally draining at times too.
If you're in the youth group, I really think that you should consider a trip to Haiti, because here we're really focused on the material things and what we want, but when you go to Haiti, it distracts you from everything back home. You'll forget about relationships, what you want. You'll forget about the hot showers, because you have to get cold showers in Haiti. And you'll really just learn to appreciate everything you have, so.
I think it's also a neat way to see that, the church is universal. Pastor Roman said this often whenever we met with him. We worship and believe in the same God as them down in Haiti. Even though there's different language and different ways of worshiping, we all honor the same God. And I think if you want to go, you definitely want to have your passport or be close to getting your passport, because it can take a while.
Yeah, I took a mission trip in 2013. I went to El Salvador, and that was just a great experience, seeing God work down there. And what I got from that is that God is a global-minded God, and he wants us as Christians to be global-minded people. So if you have the opportunity to do a missions trip out of the country, I encourage you to do that. For some of you guys, maybe the first step is you do Urban Hope, that you do local missions here, so you can build yourself up to do a missions trip overseas. So last thing we're going to close with, lightning round, favorite memory?
Pastoral Ment's smile. When we got out of the cattle truck to the graduation, he just had the bright smile on his face, and it always warmed my heart.
My favorite memory was playing with all the kids, because we literally got beach balls and jump ropes out, and they were satisfied for hours. Here, that's not gonna happen. You give them a beach ball and they'll be satisfied for 5 minutes at the most. So that just really, that's something that it's gonna stay with me forever.
Definitely the kids. Anytime you go anywhere, they run up to you and they grab you and they hug you. And whenever we were dancing with the little pre-K kids, they were grabbing onto you and they wouldn't let you go. And it was just the cutest ness ever. I don't know.
I just loved whenever we played with the kids at Pastor Lament's churches. And it was just so neat to see, as soon as they saw you, their faces just lit up. And there were kids at Pastor Lament's church that were there 3 hours early waiting for us to get there. And as soon as they saw our truck, they started sprinting towards the truck, and they were standing there the whole time. And it was just so cool to see all of them and just to see how happy they were even though they had nothing.
All right, let's give them a hand for sharing tonight. All right, so how we're going to close tonight, I know we pick on this guy a lot, but we're really fortunate to have Pastor Brian. He's a lead pastor that really loves you guys, and he asks me questions all the time about how am I pastoring you guys and how can he get involved in helping you guys. I'm going to ask Pastor Brian to close us in prayer. You can clap for him. Or
That is my second fake dad right there, too. So, second fake dad.
Second fake dad. So you have two. Oh, you have a first fake dad back there? Oh, right here. Okay. Wow. Let's just pray. All right. Father God, we thank you and praise you for your love for us. May we leave tonight and just be mindful, though, Father, that that love extends to throughout the world. And as we've listened tonight, we've talked about your love for the people of Haiti. And we've learned a lot from them and just spending time with them. And I'm sure that there are some in this room that would like to experience that as well, Father. And we just pray that you would lay upon those that you would, your will for them as their involvement in Haiti. But as we come near this holiday season, there's a lot of a tendency to focus on us and what we can get and what we can receive and what we can do and what's going to happen for us. And I just pray that maybe there'll just be a little bit of a mindset, Father, of it's not about us, it's about you. And when it's about you, it's also about others. And so we just ask that you would give us a heart and a mindset for others. May we go through our days looking around us for the people you put before us that need you and need us to help them, Father. As John the Baptist said, less of himself and more of you, and I pray that that would be our thought this holiday season. I pray a blessing upon each one here. We love them, I love them, and we love their families, and we just pray a blessing upon them. We ask this in the name of your Son. Amen.